Hey everyone, my name is CJ, and this past season I have played in the ABA and in the TBL. But this video is going to be geared more towards my experience within the ABA and what you need to know before you step foot in the ABA if you do decide to take that route. Now, the ABA stands for the American Basketball Association, and it spans from the East Coast to the West Coast. And there's a lot of teams within the ABA. There's a lot of teams in some states more than others, but there's a lot of teams. And my team was based out of South Carolina. Now, I'll tell you from my experience, some stuff that I wish I would have known before I stepped foot in the ABA were a lot of the rule changes. There's a lot of rules that are different from regular basketball than what's going on in the ABA, which I can remember a couple, which some are the 3D rule, which is if you're able to steal the ball before they cross half court, you get +1 for every bucket you get. So if I steal the ball and I get a layup within that 3D rule, that layup is now worth 3 points. If I get a steal within that 3D rule and I shoot a three and I make it, that's worth 4 points. With that, there's also a 4-point line in the ABA. So if I shoot a 4-pointer, that's 4 points. Good. If I shoot a 4-point within that 3D rule, that's now worth 5 points. Now I'm halfway towards 10 points, double digits in one shot. And a lot of coaches and like overseas teams, they see that as inflating. Like, for example, when I went to the TBL Combine, I was interviewing with one of the coaches and I told him, he saw my stats, I showed him, he said, oh, you was averaging 30 plus in the ABA. How many of those were actually 30 plus? Obviously, he knows about the 3D rule because he coached there. So they do know about the inflating stats. Just keep it real with them. And also, the competition within the ABA is not as pristine as the TBL or other leagues. Some games you might play an actually decent team. Like you can tell they practice, they care, they want to win. Some games feels like you might be playing in a glorified men's league game. And no joke, it really feels like a glorified men's league game. We put up the second most points, I think, in ABA history. We had like 170 something points in one game. Again, that's what helped with the 3D rule and just hooping and playing against a random team. And again, a lot of coaches, they see that the ABA is a semi-pro league. Not a pro league, it is a semi-pro league. So with that, you got to think, if you're looking to do this to go overseas or to find an agent, a lot of them know what the ABA is and they know what products kind of come out the ABA. So using this particular film within the ABA, I wouldn't really say it's going to work. It might in some cases, but I'll tell you a lot of the cases it's not going to work. And the route I took with the ABA is I was a leasing agent for a little bit before I started taking basketball 100% seriously again. And when I came back, I was rusty, so I decided to let me find a semi-pro league ABA team and get back right. So that's what I did for that one season. I got right, I got back conditioned, everything was great. Then I went to the TBL and tried out for the TBL team or TBL league. That's gonna be a whole different video. But for the ABA, I would say I wouldn't really use it as strictly film. Because for one, depending on what team you are, you won't have to have somebody film your games. All the games aren't live streamed. That's one. So for us, we had somebody film our games on a phone and then we were able to upload it to YouTube. Some teams have the luxury to be able to film live on YouTube and it's already right there. It looks more of like, a college type stream, maybe a low D3, NAIA type stream. There's some ABA teams that have like a brand deal or some deal where they're able to stream to like their local city or whatever, and the stream looks pretty good. But there's a lot of games I played in where if we didn't film it, it never happened. And that's pretty much just the normality of it. So, but with the TBL, it's different. They have their own platform. They're able to stream, and it looks good. I don't know if I even went over financials, but again, financial wise, if you're looking to get paid, the ABA, you wouldn't really get paid a lot. If you do get paid, it won't be a lot. A lot of players don't get paid at all unless you're really good. And again, it's not something you can live off of. It's not something that will, you know, I don't even know how to say it, but it won't be a lot. So with that, financially, you won't really get paid. And yeah, I do have a lot of stories about what happened in the ABA, like games that got canceled, games that didn't happen because of somebody dropped the ball and refs didn't show up. And that's just stuff you have to, that's stuff that happens. Refs just don't show up because they weren't assigned to the game because the game wasn't supposed to happen, but nobody told the teams the games weren't supposed to happen. So we got a team from Georgia coming down to South Carolina to play a game, and we're warming up and we haven't seen one ref, and there's 5 minutes until game time. We started making calls and we found out the team we're playing against isn't really in the ABA no more. Something happened and they're suspended. So the game didn't really get played with refs. I think it was just more like a glorified scrimmage at that point. I don't even know if I played that game. But yeah, stuff like that happens in the ABA. And I just want you to be prepared for it to not be ran like a professional league. That is one thing I want you to realize, that it is not a professional league. So yeah, that's some of my experience within the ABA. Hopefully you got some insight of the ABA. And again, depending on what you're doing, I would choose the ABA. Like if you're choosing to work on your skills, because some games you're able to work on your skills. You're able to work on your jump shot, skills, moves, just do what you need to do in order to, maybe try out for a higher league. That's good. But going from the ABA probably to straight to overseas is probably not likely going to happen. And again, there are some outliers. I'm not saying it is impossible, but from my experience, it's not likely. So again, hopefully you got some insight. Hopefully you do your own research too, look into the ABA, looking for what you want, looking for what team you might join. And yeah, if you have any questions, comment it below. Please like, subscribe. I'm gonna do more videos like this about the TBL, more on the ABA, more on overseas and everything like that. But thanks for tuning in.